Hello and welcome to this screencast on Acme's 9p server. Acme exposes a 9p server that is used to manipulate the internal system of Acme. One can create buffers, delete buffers, modify the contents of buffers, and a plethora of other things as well. So why 9p? Acme originally came from the Plan 9 project. It was a research operating system that heavily relied on the concept of everything as a file. In Plan 9, your audio, video, USB, and peripheral devices are all files that can be read and sometimes even written to. 9p is the protocol that exposes a file system to clients that can allow for manipulation of different devices. When users install Acme through the Plan 9 port, there is a simple bundled Acme with the name 9p. So 9p can be used as a command line utility to communicate with the 9p protocol. The 9p Acme servers. There is a manual page for the 9p Acme service that can be invoked using the following command. So if I do middle click here, we can see there is this manual page and it explains Acme's 9p server with a plethora of options and very powerful ways to manipulate Acme. It's very detailed. However, for the purpose of this video, I intend to keep it short. Illustration of the 9p server, writing our own fuzzy finder. In my opinion, I tend to notice that sometimes I'm very slow when using Acme compared to Emacs. I attribute the bottleneck to navigating directories in Acme. Navigating a directory in Acme can be a chore because to open a nested directory, one either has to enter all the parent directories or write the path verbatim and right click on it. So to illustrate, let me create a bunch of directories and put some files in them. So I'm going to create a Go project type directory. So here's how it would look like. First we would have a main.go, and that would be the main file, and then maybe we would have an internal package directory. We'll have something like a model, maybe an auth, maybe a game, maybe under a game there would be a board, something of that sort. Now let's view the directory tree. So we can see that there is 3 nested directories here. If I want to go to the internal game board, I would have to right click here, go to game, and then go to board. But just to go to game board, I had to go inside the internal directory and then the game directory inside the internal directory. And that's very slowly that adds up into having lots and lots of open buffers that the user, or sorry, not the user, but I forget to close. So that's the purpose of wanting to write our own fuzzy finders. Now, before I can continue, I just want to say that there is a way to make it to go into this directory without writing it, and it's by typing the path and then right clicking on it. But that's I would say very wasteful. So what I want to do is I want to write my own fuzzy finder specifically for Acme. So what if we can harness the power of 9p alongside an external program to make our own fuzzy file finder? The fuzzy file finder would display all the files and directories, and if the user presses enter, that file or directory is opened within Acme. So to do this, I'm just going to go and create a simple script in the local bin directory. Now, just to explain for those who don't know what this directory is, it's basically a directory where $path is linked to. So that means that any program that I create in this directory will be available throughout the will be available as a command basically. So what I'm gonna type is acme-fzf, and then I'm gonna make it executable, and then I'm gonna write a simple shell script. Now, usually in I would say Linux, people would use find dot, and find dot as a command would display all the files within the directory. What I intend to do is make it even more Unix and use the command du-a. And what that does, it shows all the files plus their sizes. So if I do it right now, it will show videos, Go project, and so on and so forth. However, to print the files, I'm gonna do print $2 with awk. So it would print the second column, which is this one, this one, this one, this one, and so on. So if I do acme-fzf, you will see that it will print. It acts like find dot, and I want to sort it to remove the directory, the current directory. I would say, yeah, the current directory dot. Yeah. So first it would show everything, but then I can use something like grep, or not even grep. Use awk again, and then say print any line after the first line. So if I do that, it will only print 0, 1, 2, but it will skim out on printing the dot. I'm gonna make that into a variable called files here. And so next, what I intend to do is feed all of these options into a menu program. Now, in Linux, there is a program called dmenu. And what dmenu does is, if you give it a bunch of lines, like so, line 1, line 2, line 3, and combine that with dmenu, it will give you a menu up top that you can choose from. And you can also filter by typing into the input. And if you click on it, it would print the selected option. But if you cancel, it will exit with status code 1. So what I'm gonna do is feed all of the options into the D menu. Now I'm using Wayland, so I would use W menu, but still you could use a similar, a similar type of program. There is also a program I think called Rofi, ROFI, and that could be used as well. So if I do that now, it will give me a bunch of files. And if I do 02, it's not going to print anything because I didn't make it print. Now, first, to open the Acme, first we have to check if the user canceled the selection. And to check that, we have to use the if statement with this type of condition. So if not empty, and then what is not empty? The current file, the selected option, sorry. We'll call that the selected option because it's clearer, I guess. And then selected something. So if I execute it again, 01, it says selected something, but if I do esc, it doesn't say anything. Now, what we want to do now is open the Acme an Acme buffer with the file or directory. So if we go back to the Acme main page, there is this directory called new. And what this does is, if you access any file in it, it will create a new window. So if you want to make a new text appear in a new window, you can write it to the Acme Plan9 server new body. So let's test this out. Hello world, and then 9p write acme new body. It writes hello world to a new buffer. Okay, that's easy enough. For more control, open div new CTL, and whenever they say /div, we'll replace that with acme. Yeah. So, and use the interface described below. So let's see the CTL directory. So it may be read to the 5 numbers, something, something. And then each message is terminated by a new line, and multiple messages may be sent in a single write. So we can mark the window clean. Clean means that the same data in the buffer is the same data on disk, so no unsafe changes have been made. Dirty means the opposite of that, so there are some unsafe changes. Del refers to this del command, which closes the buffer. Delete, I'm not sure what delete does. I'm guessing it deletes selected text. Get gets the directory. So just for reference, if I do get here, it will make the buffer empty, and then it would read the directory and show me the files in the directory. And then name. So set the name of the window to name. So let's try to test this out. I'll do name hello-world. I pressed delete accidentally. 9p write acme new CTL. Okay, so it created a new buffer with the name hello world. Now what we want to do is we want to create a new buffer with that directory in mind. So also, now that I think about it, it's probably good practice to join the two directories together. So like where we executed acme-fzf, join that path of the current directory with the selected option. And to do that, I'm just going to do something very basic, which is selected option equals, and then selected option. Just to test it, I'm gonna try to print it out. So it prints something like this. I guess I should remove the dot and then forward slash. I think if I do this, it would remove it automatically. It doesn't. Then I suppose I'll have to remove it manually, and the way to remove it manually is perhaps by using awk, using substring to a length. So it removes the first two characters, the dot and then slash. No, I was wrong. It should be 3 because it starts from 1. So like this. Now it says Go project. That's good enough. Now what we want to do is open a new buffer using this command. So what I'm going to do is just copy the command that I had, but instead of the name being hello world, it's the selected option. And let's execute that and see if it works as intended. I'm going to delete this buffer and I'm going to try it here. Okay, that does work. But the problem is this buffer is empty. So if I do get, it will show me the files. Now what we need to do next is just to reference the CTL. This is the CTL. It's down here. It's called get, equivalent to the get interactive command with no arguments, accepts no arguments. So we need to do name and then new line and then get and then new line. Now the reason we do that with the new line specifically is because, as it says here, each message is terminated by a new line and multiple messages may be sent in a single write. So essentially what this script does is create a new buffer with the name as the selected name, and then just get the content. So if it's a text editor, it would get the content and put it. If it's a text file, it would get the content. If it's a file in general, it would get the content. If it's a directory, it would read the directory and format it in a Acme-like way. So if I execute it now, it should work as intended. Yes. If I try to do the nested one, I want the board. I just type board and then voila. Now to test it out, I'm just gonna create a board.go and then try it again. Board, voila, it works as intended. Now in the W menu or D menu or Roofy, you can also use the keys to navigate between the options. So if I wanted board.go, I just use the arrow key, right arrow key, and then press enter, and it works as intended. So this was, I think, a good illustration of how to use Acme's 9P server to your advantage and make it so that you get to make tools for your editor that are POSIX compliant. Hope this video was helpful, and hope you have a wonderful day, and see you on the next one.